Hi, my name is Greg Perkins. I'm the instructor for this online Math 13 class. And here's section 1.1. We're not going to be doing much math here. There's a few definitions, but mostly it's critical thinking. Here we go. So on to a couple of definitions. So the population is the whole group of objects to be studied. So for example, it could be the whole population of the United States, or perhaps we're going to study all Hartnell College students, so the population would be all current students. So a sample would be any subgroup of the population. And with a sample, it's best if they're randomly chosen. So don't just interview your friends or only those people that are around you, but you should randomly choose anybody from the group. In later sections, we'll go on to exactly how to construct a sample. So when you gather information from the whole population, that's called a parameter. And when you gather information from a sample, that's called a statistic. So I remember it because of the alliteration, population, parameter, statistic, sample. So PPSS. So for example, you could find out people's hair color, their age, their weight. And again, if you were finding out the age of everybody at Hartnell College, if that's your population, then that would be a parameter. So as I said before, people should be chosen randomly to be in the sample. So they shouldn't be able to choose whether or not to do it. So for example, people are asked to text the word yes or no if whether or not they like a movie. So what's wrong with that? Well, that's an example of where people are choosing to be in the sample. And the problem is only those people that feel strongly yes or strongly no are going to take the time to text and vote. Many people who don't feel strongly one way or the other, yeah, it was an alright movie, I sort of liked it, but am I going to take the time to text some stranger that? No. So you would miss out on a lot of people. And now this is just some critical thinking. So for example, what if there was this quote, 56% of Catholics say they would be in favor of having female priests. In case you didn't know, Catholic Church only has male priests. Anyway, so what's wrong with that statement? So just thinking critically, well, for one thing, Catholics are found all around the world, but in different countries, because of different cultures, the way that the religion is practiced is slightly different. The beliefs are slightly different. So if you went to the Philippines and asked people, you might get a different answer than if you went to New Jersey and asked people. So that could be a problem with this. Then just think critically about this graph right here. Congressional job approval. So in other words, the US Congress, people were asked to approve of the job they were doing. And this picture that I found is a little outdated, 2009 to 2014, but that's not really the point. So does it seem reliable? Well, it seems to go up and down, mostly down though. So the numbers, 13%, 14%, 20%, from what I've heard in the news, that seems reliable. Also, it comes from the Gallup poll. It's a Gallup poll. So Gallup is an organization that's been doing polling for many, many, many years. They're neither Republican or Democratic. They're independent. So I would say, yeah, I think I could believe that. Do the following seem like it's possible, likely, or is it impossible? So it will rain tomorrow. Yeah, it's possible. Here around Salinas, it doesn't rain that much, but it's possible that it could rain. Later in about chapter 4, 5, and 6, we will actually have formulas to calculate probabilities. But at this point, it's more of an opinion. What do you think? Think critically. How about part B? Justin Bieber will be the president of the United States someday. I think that's impossible. Not that I've got anything against Justin Bieber, but he's Canadian, and you need to be a United States citizen to be the president. So I don't think they're going to elect a Canadian. So continuing with sort of thinking common sense. So if I say 80% of this class is going to pass with a C or better. Okay, so with that first sentence, why is it exactly 80%? If you're doing math, it's pretty rare that it would come out to be just a nice whole number of 80%. And then also, if you told me, or if I told you, based on my 25 years of teaching this class, it's been 80%. Okay, I could believe it a little bit more if you've got something to back it up. So if I had claimed that it's 80.4%, well, that then makes it sound like I must have really done some math and it seems more accurate. But you could look at it the other way around. Just because somebody throws out a number like 80.4% and they throw out words like, I've been doing this for 25 years, that doesn't mean it's accurate. So just be aware of that. Here's a graph. So we're going to compare my height with that of LeBron James. If you didn't know, LeBron James is a basketball player. I am not. So this is the truth, or at least what Google told me, that LeBron is 6'8", and I'm 5'10". Used to be 5'11", but as you get older. Anyway, so right now I'm 5'10". And then take a look at this graph. So on the left side, it's going 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, and I tried to draw as accurately as I could that this would be me at 5'10", LeBron at 6'8". What's wrong with that? Well, the problem is that it's not drawn to scale. So I drew a red line right here through the middle of my graph. And so between this line and this line, that's 50% of me. So this is the bottom 50%, that's the top 50%. And these lines are evenly spaced. So basically it's saying that LeBron is 50% taller than me. So if you take my 5'10", 50% taller would be, well, this is almost 6 feet, so it's almost 3 feet taller than me. So is LeBron 3 feet taller than me? Is he 8'10"? No. So the real problem is this scale on the left, it should have started at 0. Go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then it would be drawn proportionately. And, sorry about that, I forgot that I have to push the button twice. Suppose you call somebody and ask how much they pay for gas because you're trying to figure out, what's the average price for gas. So is there anything wrong? Well, for one thing, how did you get their phone number? So cell numbers are a little bit harder to find. It used to be when people had home phones, then there was a phone book and you could just look in the phone book. So perhaps you're only calling people that you know. And if you're only calling people you know, then most likely they're all in the local area. And did you randomly call someone in Florida and find out how much they pay for gas in Florida? So there could be a few problems. And then also how much they pay for gas. If you really wanted to know, then you should either go to a gas station and look or use some type of app that gets the information from the gas stations. Because if you ask somebody, let's say, I paid $3.50 or was it $3.75, something like that. So it wouldn't be very accurate. Suppose that your test scores are these 65, 70, 78, 83, and then 100. Good job improving. So is an 80 above your average? And the problem is that average, when we say it in English, it just sort of means the middle. But in statistics, there are actually specific, hold on, no, back up, thank you. The little program was trying to get ahead of itself. So anyway, in statistics, we have different types of averages. There's the mean, where you add up the 5 numbers and divide by 5. There's the median, which would be the middle number, 78. There's the mode, so etc. So at this point, we don't have a specific definition for average, so I can't really answer that one. Okay, so the program wants me to go on. So just a little bit of work with decimals. 2 divided by 5, you just can do that on a calculator. 2 divided by 5 is going to be 0.40. And then to change it to a percent, multiply by 100, which would move the decimal over by 2, and then that's going to be 40%. Going the other way around, 88% means 88 divided by 100. So you could move the decimal and put it as 0.88. Or if you wanted it as a fraction, it would be 88 over 100, which you could then reduce because you can divide by 4 on the top and divide by 4 on the bottom. So that would be 22 over 25. And then just one more, and we're done with this section. So in this, fill in the blanks. So a 0.9 is the same thing as 0.90. 0.90 is the same as 90%. So this would be 90%. This one's 9 over 10. For 24%, that's the same as 0.24. So this would be 0.24, and this would be 24 over 100. Let me just show you. So 24% would be 0.24. And when you put 0.24 as a fraction, it's 24 over 100, but then that could be reduced. Uh-oh, it looks like I didn't reduce this one all the way. This one should be reduced because you can divide by 2, it's 6 over 25. That one should say 6 over 25, my bad. And then 1/2 is 0.5 if you do that on a calculator, or perhaps you already know it. And then 0.5 is 50%. And then finally, 1/3. So throughout this class, we'll be working with 3 decimal places. So these other ones would have a 0 at the end, so you don't actually have to put that. But this one, go to 3 decimal places. So 0.333. And then if you move the decimal over 2 places to the right, that means it's 33.3%. All right, we're already done with the first section. See you soon.